You think, just in overall, first thing that comes to mind, do you think football, not the Big Ten, or including the Big Ten, do you think they have some kind of season this year?
It just seems to me that the presidents have had they've got their mind set on liability issues, and that they're not willing to take that aspect of it on. And listen, I understand that this isn't happening in a vacuum. This is this coronavirus is spiking in different places around the country. So I'm sure there's that concern. But where it's spiking most right now is in the South and some other areas of the country, but in the South. So I would like to know what SEC and ACC medical directors have told the school presidents down there.
I think they said play ball.
It sounds like it, and I'd like to think they wouldn't do that if they thought it was a high risk activity.
When Dr. Steinbrecher was here last night, there's always you got to look, not with him, but with all the people in those positions. You got to look at it and say, where are they going with this and what are they doing? And it just seems to me that it's unbelievable that anybody would come down on the side of money versus young student athletes getting a lifelong injury or illness. It's hard to believe anybody would do that.
Yeah, and so to me there have to be some kind of reason why some conferences and why some schools are willing to forge ahead at this point. And I know that, listen, the last people that I want to put this in the hands of are college football coaches. And I don't mean to say that they don't take their players' safety into account, but clearly they want to play this season. So when Ryan Day says he's out there fighting for his guys, and I mean, I think that helps when you go recruit to be able to play that video or that tape of him saying it. But I just don't think you can turn to the football coaches and say, hey, what do you guys think? Because they're all going to, most of them or many of them are going to say, let's play.
For Ohio State fans, Bud, this shaped up to be a good couple of years here. I mean, every couple of years is good for Ohio State, but it really looked like it this way. And the advantage they still had over Michigan, although you don't know what's going to happen if they just shut it down for 1 year and then go play. I just don't know. I guess if I'm Nebraska or somebody like that, I guess I'd try to get a title, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I guess. I always felt that college football, and I don't know if you felt the same way. I think you did from our previous conversations, but I always felt that college football was at much greater risk than the NFL because the NFL players are represented by a union. They can negotiate protocol. They can basically decide whether they want to accept the risk. They're given the option of opting out. I always thought college football was going to be dicier, but I did think that when I saw what was happening with ACC and SEC, I thought that the Big Ten would at least hold off, and if nothing else, decide to push it back a month.
Yeah, college football, they can't test as often and as deep as the NFL can. NFL can do it 5 times a day if they wanted to.
Yeah, and just, you're asking kids to, people will call up immediately when I say this, right, and say, well, they're getting free education. Yeah. But still, you're asking players that aren't being paid to accept that kind of risk. And we don't know exactly. This is why I would like to hear from medical directors, because my understanding, Les, is that we don't know what exactly the long-term effects of this virus are.
No, they're bringing in the heart and the brain now.
Yeah, we just don't know that, and maybe school presidents, maybe part of it's liability, and maybe part of it is that fear of the unknown of not knowing now what a positive test would produce in the body in 2 years, 5 years, however many years.
2-1